Okay, so again, as far as just the basic linear equations, does anybody know what a linear equation means? Yeah. It's an equation that is based on the equation of a line, which means there's going to be one, if there's any solution, it's just one single solution. Okay, so a linear equation at most is going to have one solution. Okay, so if for some reason you get more than one answer, you've done something wrong. Okay, so a linear equation will have one solution. Okay, so if I gave you an equation like this, what would be the process for solving this? What's the first thing that you'd need to do? Okay, Lauren? Good. So the first step would be to isolate your variable term. Okay, so the easiest way to isolate it in this particular case is just to move all the constants to one side. So you still have the negative 2y on the right. On the left, you get a negative 24. Okay. And now your next step would be to do what? To solve this. Yeah, Rick? Okay. Now you divide by whatever coefficient's in front of your variable. Okay, so now you take whatever coefficient there is, undo that coefficient. So you're multiplying by negative 2. We can undo that by dividing. And so we get our solution of negative 24 over negative 2. It gives you a positive solution. Okay, and so there is our answer. You should always be in the habit of checking your solution. Okay, a couple ways that you can check it. Okay, if you like to do this material by hand, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay, you can also use your calculator. A calculator would be a way to check your solution as well. So even if you do it by hand, if you still have time on an assignment, it's probably wise to go ahead and check it on your calculator. Okay, so really quickly, let me talk through how you would check this on your calculator. Okay, so if you have your calculators, go ahead and take them out. If not, you can open them up online if you haven't already. Okay, solving equations on your calculator is very, very simple, okay, because your calculator has a built-in solve capability, okay, which is part of the reason why it's not allowed on ACT testing. And the other reason is because it has a keyboard that you can type things in on. Okay, but if you look at your algebra tab, okay, is there anybody who has a different screen than this that shows up when they turn on their calculator? If you do, if you have something different than this, just make sure you check with me, and I'll not the skin of this, but just like the display, these tabs. Check with me, and I'll fix it for you on your calculator. But if you go to this F2 algebra tab, the very first command line in there is solve. Okay? This solve function is going to be very, very useful because as long as you enter your equation in correctly in the right format, it will give you your answer or answers. And so if you hit solve and then just type the equation exactly as it appears. So negative 19 is equal to, again, the equal is right below the x, negative 2y plus 5. Once you enter your equation exactly as it appears, you then need to tell the calculator what variable you want it to solve for. The way that you do that is you type in the comma, which is right above the 9. You tell it the variable you want it to solve for. So in this particular case, we want it to solve for y. Close off the parentheses. And now when you hit enter, it confirms that y is equal to 12. So you have your solution. Right, if the variables are on both sides of the equation, again, solving by hand is nearly identical. There's just one added step to it. Okay, so if we talk about the steps for this equation, if you needed to solve, the only step that you need to add to what we have written up above is what? Any ideas? Yeah, yeah.
Combine my terms.
Perfect. Combining like terms means you may need to move all of them to same side. Once you move all your like terms to the same sides, and you can do that in one single step. Okay, so here we can add 3x to both sides. There are no constants on the left, so we can just simplify it there. But even if we had a constant on the left, we could just undo that constant in the same step. And then just simplify what we have. So 4x minus 2x is 2x, plus 3x gives us 5x. On the right side, we just have the constant 15. And then you perform all the same steps that we did right here. Isolate the variable term, which is kind of involved in that same step. Solve for the variable. Okay, so to solve here, we undo the operation. We had multiplication by 5, so to undo that, we divide both sides by 5. We get our solution to be x equals 3. Once again, if you have the opportunity, check your solution. Okay, and so if we check this, I want you to enter that on your own in the calculator to verify using the solve feature. Okay, and see if it confirms what we got. Okay, so we have 4x minus 2x equals 15 minus 3x, comma x, because we want to solve for x. Enter confirms that x is 3.